Chosen one, this moment is not a coincidence. Your soul was drawn to this video because the heavens whispered the same message to you 7 times. The number 1111 didn't appear before your eyes for nothing, and the prayers of 33 prophets did not fall upon you by chance. You are one of the 144,000 chosen, and your presence here is a divine sign. This message was sent to awaken the secret that has been resting within your heart. What you are about to hear are not just words, but divine vibrations that will sink deep into your soul. If these words are touching you, leave your heart in the comments so the heavens can witness your testimony. Because when you write, another soul will awaken. Now prepare yourself, for this video will illuminate your path. Those who recognize the signs of God know that nothing is random. That's why your being here is already a miracle. Family, our voice is rising. We are walking toward our first 1,000 subscribers. If this message speaks to you, press like, subscribe to Chosen Archangel, and comment, "I'm part of this mission." They were steady, believing they had the upper hand as they took control of the situation, but now they are spinning around, dizzy from the sheer intensity of your move, spiraling out of control like a car sliding on ice tiers. Oh, they are on the verge of hitting something, and the crash is coming. You just erased them in such a cold, calculating, and faultless manner that they were obliterated the next second, left in the dust, and trying to make sense of what had just hit them. Wide-eyed and shocked, they have realized that they never had a chance in the rearview mirror and are only trying to keep control of the car. This is your victory lap. They thought they had you under control and could move around however they wanted because they knew you would always be there. It was a twisted little game that they controlled. One day they would ignore you and push and tug, and the next they would show you all the attention. You guessing and hoping that they would leave you with just enough breadcrumbs to keep you hungry but never enough to satisfy you. They believed that you could be predicted because you were always willing to forgive them, always returned, and always stayed, no matter what they did. However, they made a mistake in their calculations as you watched, learning, taking notes, and counting the times they withdrew from you to gain knowledge. Decide whether or not to pursue them in a way that they did not expect from you. Instead of arguing, begging, crying, or pleading with them to explain, you simply left without doing any of these things. It wasn't with a dramatic farewell, a long speech about how they have harmed you, or a final argument in which they could twist your words and turn everything around on you. You left without any warnings or chances for a second chance. By blocking, deleting, and removing them, you give the impression that they have never existed. Their name, their images, and their presence are all gone, and at that point, the fear started to set in because, to put it simply, this was not supposed to happen. That is how it always happened in the past, and that is how they kept their power. You were supposed to react, to break down, to seek out, and to be eager for closure, but you ignored the norms. That silence is deafening. They get up and check their phone because they don't know what to do with it, but they find nothing there. They look through your social media accounts, but there are no cryptic posts, somber songs, or signs of regret. As of right now, they are in a downward spiral, wandering around the room rehashing previous conversations in search of clues and ways to get out of it. You never seemed to care, did you? Did they mean anything at all because reality is hitting them? They are starting to destroy themselves, and doubt is starting to creep in. They were the ones who became addicted, not you. They needed your vitality, your presence, and your validation, and they lived off of it. It makes them feel empty and void, not because they loved or respected you, but because you were their supply, which is why they kept you close to them. Now that the supply has been used up, the withdrawal is very uncomfortable. They thought they were the prize, that they were in control, and that anything you did without them was pointless. However, now they are sitting in the mess they made, looking at a phone that will never ring and checking a profile that won't change because you've moved on. They never thought this would be possible, but it is because they were never in control. All they did was think that they were the moment you left. It was their expectation that you would give up, that you would crumble under the pressure of their absence, and that the silence would break you. However, it is actually breaking them every time they look at their phone and see that there are no messages, missed calls, or panic texts from you wondering what went wrong. Their chest and ego become more constricted. It was not meant for this. They won, and now they are stuck spinning and yearning for a reaction that will never come because you won the moment you went away. To occur when they search through old texts for clues, reread your words, and examine each sentence to try and figure out when the transition happened. When you stop needing them, you start to wonder if you ever cared or if they were ever as important as they thought they were. They thought they had the power to leave you hanging and guarantee that you would always return for more, but you didn't have any warning in you. They look at your profile in the hopes of finding some indication of heartbreak, a heartwarming quote, a mysterious message, or anything else that might validate their significance, but they find nothing. Your silence is excessively reserved, and it feels like you're trying to suffocate them. The itch persists even though they've thrown away their phone. It's the urge to know, the desire to be in control, and their thoughts are racing. Now, apprehension is starting to set in because what if this isn't just a game? What if you are being serious? They check their phone again, but there is still no response. Their stomachs are in knots. The days are going by, and the stillness persists even though they were so obstinate. They tell themselves that maybe you are just being stubborn, maybe you are testing them, maybe this is just a part of the game that you will eventually give in, that you will reach out at any moment. Convinced that you would be the one to break, they expected you to be in agony, crying, and confused without them, but you are thriving instead, and this is precisely what is causing the most harm. They believed that you needed them, that you couldn't function without them, and that you would have to wait and hope for another chance. Despite the fact that they have never even existed, you are glowing, living, and moving forward. They are being. Surprised to learn that they were never the main character in your story. Rather, they were only a passing chapter, a lesson learned, or a mistake fixed. The mask is coming off because, no matter where they go or what they do, you are always in the back of their mind. They try to divert their attention by going out to parties, flirting with new people, or acting unconcerned, but the mask is coming off because they are thinking about you all the time when you are not around, and it is more obvious when you are not around. They are unable to cope with the fact that you changed the conclusion, and now that the downward spiral has begun, it will only get worse. It seems like something is amiss or unsettling, and when they wake up, the bed is colder. They were there, and the worst part is that they were the ones who went through this. They thought they had plenty of time, that you would always be waiting for them, and that they might return whenever they felt like it. Even though they check their phone and discover that there are no missed calls, texts, or opportunities for a second chance, the silence is more oppressive and their thoughts are racing before their feet have even touched the ground. They convince themselves that everything is fine and that they don't care, but they suffer from a tight feeling in their chest, their thoughts are racing, and their stomach tells them otherwise. Even though they do not choose to acknowledge or confront it, the unfathomable void that they feel seeps into their very bones. They try to shake it off, divert their attention, and connect with old friends, but it seems like they are unable to move on. They go about their day feeling uneasy, the food is bland, the music is loud, and the conversations that are happening are muddled together. People laugh, but it is a fake smile that is hollow. Pals go out to party and drink in an attempt to dull the pain, but it doesn't work. The music is pounding, the drinks are burning, and the people around them are talking, flirting, and laughing, but they don't feel anything. They lose focus in the middle of the conversation, their eyes glazing over, and their minds wandering to other places, leaving you wondering what you're doing, whether you're thinking about them, and why in the world they're feeling. Since the truth is slowly but surely catching up with them, you brought them back to earth, made sense of the chaos they were already in, and smoothed off their rough edges, but they took it for granted. In this way, when they were so sure that everything would be okay, there is a problem with them. When they look in the mirror, they don't recognize themselves, their confidence is shaky, their power has been taken away, and the ego that they once clung to is dropping. It was a mistake on their part because without you, they are going downhill. They try to fill the gap by calling someone new, entertaining a distraction, and acting as though they are moving, but none of these things work. Nothing can compare to the conversations and touches because those people don't see them the same way you did. They thought they were in control, that they could pull the strings, that they could set the pace, and that they could decide when to give and when to pull away. They threw that away for what is a game, a power trip, and a false sense of control. Their own performance was a play. They thought that by making you wait and questioning you, they would be able to keep you wanting more. They thought that they were teaching you a lesson, but they were the ones being evaluated, and they did not pass. The conversations feel shallow, and the touches feel empty. You were able to see through the ACT, see past the ego, and see them at their core, raw, unfiltered, and genuine. Your clique is not small, it is part of a movement. Help us reach 1,000 voices by subscribing, liking, and leaving your word of faith in the comments. They can feel the energy chain, the power flipping, and the regret that is seeping into their bones as they stare at the screen. They grab their phone, open the chat app, type something out, delete it, type it again, and then continue like this. Without them, you would crumble, you would reach out, and you would beg for another chance, but you are thriving while they are falling apart. Desperation is starting to set in, though, because the more they fight it, the worse it gets, the deeper they fall, and the harder it is to breathe. This wasn't just a split, it was a wake-up call, and they weren't ready for it. They told themselves they were needed, that they were your entire universe, your foundation, and the reason you got out of bed in the morning. With every new day, they gave themselves the impression that they were significant and powerful, but in reality, they were not. As they walked around with their chests bare, they thought they had you wrapped around their finger, that you would always be there waiting, hoping, and needing them. Those people thought they had the power, that they were the treasure, and that you were lucky to have them. However, when you left, their world started to fall apart from the inside out. Neither of those things was true. The people who needed you were the ones who needed you. Don't want to face it or acknowledge it, but it's there, eating away at them, creeping into their thoughts, and tightening its hold on their mind because you weren't just another person in their life. You were the foundation of their ability. They didn't understand the balance, and they didn't understand the light that they thought would never go out, but it has gone out, and they know it's gone. They check their phone for messages, signs, or proof that they are still able to get their hands on you, but they discover nothing. There is a terrible silence that they feel in their gut, in their chest, and in the voids that you used to occupy. This is primarily because, in the past, they never had to wonder because you were always there, always available, and always waiting. Now, however, they are the ones who think they are the ones holding you up, that they are the ones making the decisions, and that they are the ones who are waiting. Ones who were the most powerful, but that was not the case. Rather, it was you who was the force, the glue, and the power that kept everything together. Now that you are no longer involved, everything is collapsing. They can't sleep, they can't focus, and they can't forget the feeling that something is missing because they thought they could take your place, find someone else, and fill the void with diversions, but they were unsuccessful in their attempts because you were more than just anyone, you were everything. Every conversation feels boring, every encounter feels hollow, and no one else can match your energy, presence, or strength because you were an all-encompassing entity. In addition, they have nothing left to their name, so they relive the past, going over every mistake they made and every moment they let themselves take for granted, trying to figure out where they went wrong. But they already know that you are dependent on them, that you are weak without them, and that you cannot function independently, but the truth is that it was the other way around. They couldn't function without your love, your presence, and your approval. You were their source of power and their secret weapon. You were the one who made them feel significant, unique, and desirable. They needed the way you made them feel because you were their source of power at the time, but they are now aware of it, which is why they are in a state of. It is now clear that you were never the one who became hooked, rather, it was they who did so. They made a solemn vow that they would not pursue, that they would not give in, and that they would not give in. Panic, you are no longer there, and they have no idea how to repair the harm, go back in time, or retrieve what they have lost because they do not know how it is possible that they thought they managed to exert authority over you in their minds. They have always used energy to exert their influence, and you are aware of it, aren't you? It is them pushing on your energy, thinking about you so fiercely that it reaches you and tries to bring you back. Come back first, but you haven't returned yet, and it is driving them completely crazy. They are feeling this pull, this desperation that is tugging at their chest, and this longing to have you back even though they don't deserve it. They are pleading with you to pay attention to them. They are looking through old photos, rereading old messages, and staring at your name in their contacts list. They are searching for a sign that you are still interested in them, so they send subtle but intentional signals, such as a song they know that makes you think of them, a post that is too specific, a random follow, or a. They want you to think about them, experience them, and be the first to break the silence, but when that doesn't work, they become more brazen. They start to appear in your dreams, in memories you haven't thought about in months, and strange reminders of them start to appear during the day, like a song, perfume, or phrase you recognize. Is it a coincidence? No, it's them who are frantically trying to get your attention. As they sit in their room with their eyes closed, trying to re-enter your life, they whisper to the universe, let them reach out, let them miss me, let them come back. They don't want to be the ones to do it because their pride will not let them, because you are now more powerful, more conscious, and more in control of your own energy. They wait in the hopes that their energy will be enough to bring you back in, but it is insufficient because you are stronger now and you are aware of the pull, but you don't respond to it. You know the signs, but you don't act upon them. This is what's giving them the death penalty, so they change strategies. If energy doesn't work to get you back, maybe words will. They will craft the perfect message, which includes the perfect amount of vulnerability, regret, and manipulation. I was going through a lot, you know, and I never meant to hurt you. They test the waters waiting for a reaction and hoping that you would fall for the ruse, but fundamentally they haven't changed. It's not that they miss you, but rather that they miss your energy. They're not seeking love or control, but rather the way you made them feel, how you supported their ego, how you gave them validation, and how you kept them feeling significant. However, this time it's not working because you can see through it. They can't handle the fact that it seems that the life they built, which they thought was so stable, is falling apart. Their friendships are eroding, their relationships are deteriorating, and their finances are collapsing. They had the false belief that they were untouchable, that they could do anything they wanted without ever worrying about the consequences, and that they could move on without giving it a second thought. You have broken free, the barriers are getting tighter, and there is a crack in the mask. However, the universe does not work that way. There is such a thing as karma, and it is present here. They have lost their spark, their confidence has been shaken, and their ego has been crushed. They can no longer avoid it. Everyone and everything that they once had control over is slipping away from them, the attention they thrived on is no longer available, and the power they believed they possessed is dwindling. They are clueless about how to deal with it and are acting as though nothing is wrong. They started out pretending nothing had changed and putting on a show for the world, but now they are in a downward spiral. They are not sleeping the same, they are not thinking the same, and they are not feeling the same because, deep down, they know that they have lost something real, something special, and something that cannot be replaced because nothing seems to be genuine anymore. They tried to distract themselves by going out and drowning themselves in noise and chasing empty. They used to feel strong, self-assured, and in control, but now they feel helpless, insignificant, and all by themselves. They were quite certain that you would be the one to endure pain and hardship and that you would be the one to disintegrate, but the situation has changed since you are climbing higher and they are falling lower. In spite of this, none of these strategies were successful. Every interaction seems forced and superficial. Breaking them the most because they thought they had endless time to return, that you would always be waiting for them, and that they could keep playing the same tricks without ever having to pay the price. They see you shining, thriving, and moving forward as if you never existed. On the other hand, they are accepting that they have lost you, and this time they are the ones who are unable to recover. They can feel it in their chest, in their thoughts, and in their hearts. Chosen Archangel is not just a channel, it is a calling. Subscribe now, press like, and write a comment so together we can reach our 1,000 soul family. Their spirit, and it is causing them to lose control. They are going crazy because they are being driven insane by silence, which is eating away at them and fueling their addiction. They thought you would give them a chance to change the story by provoking them with rage, a fight, or one last argument, but you gave them nothing, no words, no reaction, and no proof that they are still significant. This is the power. Your silence is the most audible thing they have ever experienced. They are constantly checking their phone for something, like a message, a sign, or a breadcrumb to keep them going, but they are not getting it. They hide on your website, waiting for clues, searching for signs of pain, and searching for anything that would show that you are still worried, but they find nothing suffocating them. This is because, for the first time, they are unable to communicate with you, and they used to be able to disappear and come back whenever they wanted. To play their own games and control the pace of events this time, but not at all. The door is now methodically locked because of your high energy, which prevents them from playing games with low vibration. Despite the manipulation, you can see through it and identify the patterns you are not going to use in their game as porn. They didn't expect that to happen. They thought you would give up, that you would miss them so much that you would break, and that you would still have a strong hold on you, but you are now free, and they can sense it. They may notice the change, the distance, and the way your energy no longer reaches for theirs. Their attempts to get your attention again, to make you feel their regret, their sorrow, and their desperation, fail because you have moved past it and regained your power. Chosen one, remember this: heaven never sends a word without purpose. If this message has stirred your spirit, let it shine brighter. Press like so the light spreads to others walking in darkness. Subscribe to Chosen Archangel so you never miss the next divine revelation. And share your thoughts in the comments below. Your testimony may be the very spark that awakens another soul. Until we meet again, stay covered by the wings of heaven and walk boldly in your calling.